Ramesh, can you please rename yourself?
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't get that.
Can you please rename yourself? I mean, it shows as BBI RJ College.
Okay.
Should I help you?
No, that's okay. I'll do that. But I thought it was showing BBI RG College. Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah. So, good morning, Ramesh. We have Ramesh here. I mean, he's called Barnidharan Iyer. Like we had Dhanraj yesterday, and we used to call him Dhanraj, but then he's David Fernandez. So it's the same way. Like Ramesh was again studious guy, but one of the last benchers, I would say. I mean, and one of the students who would attend classes very rarely, right, Ramesh? I mean, he would attend lectures, I would say. Let me not say lectures very rarely. But he was far more intelligent and dedicated when it came to studies, and he was serious about his career. So, I mean, I would request you to, Ramesh, share how your success story with the students here and let them know what they can practice so that they can be as successful as you and Ashita here. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot for, thanks a lot for this opportunity, ma'am. And thanks for listening me out on a Saturday morning. I know it's generally hibernating mode for at least us people. So Saturday mornings are typically like, you do something different, and this is one of the different kinds that I'm doing after a long time now. So it's been great. So typically my Saturday mornings are like wake up early and do something that you don't do on a regular, or as a regular routine you don't do on a daily basis. And this was one. Thanks a lot. And guys, if you are okay, we can switch on some cameras, because it's been, if obviously if you are ready for that, there is no problem. Yeah. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Yeah, all good.
I was facing some connectivity issues. Otherwise, I usually keep my camera on.
No problem.
Okay, no issues. Yeah.
So, and guys, let's make it as interactive as possible, because if you have any questions, honestly, on the way, you can pause me anywhere and ask, and then I'll try to answer it to my best of my abilities, honestly. And then we can start. So the way ma'am mentioned that I had joined we had completed our graduation back in 2009, and then I recall the first day when I walked into this class in 2006, and it was I used to, honestly, I used to travel. I used to stay somewhere far, so I used to travel a bit in the morning and all, and I used to be generally late to classes. And then one of the classes I had actually walked in late, and then one of the teachers then asked me, from where do you come? And then I told her that I come from this place, and then she said, oh, so you have been traveling, you have been walking since last evening, or what, to come to the classes. So because that was a very that was a very critical class, which actually I think that which actually was very critical, at least from that teacher's perspective. So she was so she asked me that, and then my journey started with like that, with so many with so many small stories to share, and then it has become very exciting and very learning throughout those 3 years. And then I learned throughout the way. I've learned a lot in each and every anecdotes I have learned a lot in those 3 years, especially from in all aspects, be it a soft skill like being on time, as simple as that, being on time, being very relevant to something, So that was it. So let me start my journey as to what happened to me and what I did. And I know this is a conversation about having a success story, and I think that at least I can say that I take pride in saying that whatever I have done well till now. Okay. So first of all, so the way ma'am mentioned that I was decent when I used to when it comes to studies. I was decent, I was good, but I always used to have my set of friends, we would be large benches. We are hardly used to attend lectures and all, but we used to ensure that some of us, at least from our team, used to ensure that we attend do the projects on time, and be there when needed from a academic perspective, and then get things done. And then during that, uh, during these, I've inculcated a lot of important qualities in me. So now let me start. So I graduated in 2009, and then I was looking for a job, first of all, and then no one in your circle other than friends are at times very curious and very helping when it comes to you finding a job. Honestly, that happened to me. I was After graduating, I had given a couple of interviews, and then I was waiting for a job. And then during those interviews, my friends started drafting me CVs and stuff, and said that you take this format. They collated CVs from so many other places, and then got me this, and then said, go apply here, apply there. And then finally, there you at that stage, it was very difficult to understand what needs to be done, or what you want to do in life, or what kind of a field or a sector you need to choose. And practically it was very difficult to arrive at to decide what to do, because we had not seen anything, or we were not exposed to the whole world. How does it function academically? We were literate about what happens generally, but we never realize how things will pan out, and how things will fall in place. What kind of a job you would like to pick up in future and work on that which you love. So everything was wherever we used to go at a fresher level, it was at that time, like 12 years ago, it was sales and marketing. That was the crux. Even now it is there at the entry level, but yeah, then it was very, very much booming, and it was very trending also. So sales and marketing, I went for an interview. I did that sales and marketing work for a week, and then I realized that this is not the one that I wanted to do, honestly, because I couldn't actually resonate with the work, at least that they started giving me. And then I thought I'll have to quit. Then I quit in a week, and then I went to one more. I applied for one more place, and they took me as a management trainee. They initially told me that I'll be taken as a management trainee. I'll be trained, and then I'll be given work. And then again, the work that they gave was again marketing. In fact, not even marketing. It was hardcore sales, and sales of a mass product. That means you'll have to go door to door. I was on fields for one more week, and then again I thought that this is not how I will be able to do anything. Then I quit that as well within a week. And then there was a telecalling thing that used to happen. I mean, even now there are we get so many calls, they try to sell some of the products to you. So I joined that telecalling team in one of the companies, and then started working there. And again, after a week, I felt, this is not I wanted to do. So for the first, to begin with, before starting this journey of my journey, for where I am in the past 12 years, I have quit 3 jobs. Not even forget about quitting. I have not even started those 3 jobs there. And I felt that, this is not working for me. And then I had to quit. And then I was waiting for this. And then I applied for this summer internship in EY in 2009. That was a contract for 2 months. And then I took the contract. It was on a contract basis. So I took the contract. And then I worked there for 2.5 months. And then my contract ended, and then I was again waiting what to do now. And suddenly I got a call from them saying that, we were 6 summer interns who were working, and then, they wanted to uh, offer a job to one of us out of the 6, and then they started screening us. Like, there were a couple of tests, then one aptitude that happened, and then one interview that happened. And then the interview round was very hardcore. It at times it went to the technical levels of what we were working on an ongoing basis. And then after that, I got a call after a month to say that, we are okay to give you a job, you can work with us. The moment I realized that, that was the only time, that was the day I still remember the date, is 23rd November 2009, where I got my first job on the payroll of Ernst & Young. And then since that, more than 12 years now, I've been in the firm. I joined there as an analyst back in 2009. And then now I work there as a manager with the financial services and the tax team. We typically do all the tax work and the international tax work to all the major companies and, investors in the finance field. Okay. So about all these, I have realized one thing that, I have seen, so because the moment I started working, I started directly working with all the professionals around. Most of them were qualified chartered accountants or MBA. So it became a bit overwhelming because conceptually, the field that I was part of my syllabus, but it was not the core syllabus. It was not the core work that I was doing. So it became very, overwhelming for me initially to actually go to that level, step up that level and discuss things with them, speak to them, because, when it is not your subject matter that you have learned, it becomes very difficult for you to initially, hold on or grasp. But I think in this matter, what I think is only there are some things that kept me going. I can tell that, when I joined, I was not the smartest person in the room. When it comes to smart, having a view. According to me, having a view is also called smart. So if I was very difficult, it was difficult because there was no knowledge in the subject matter. The only thing that I resonate with me of all the years is, the integrity and sincerity and the perseverance with which I have done whatever I have done till now. And that has helped me a lot over the years to, just go there with no background, no tax, especially no tax background, because I'll give you a brief update about, India is one of the most complicated tax laws amongst all the other countries we have. It is one of the most complicated tax laws in the world. And when we start, liaising or, speaking or discussing with any people, any big tax professionals, there could be a possibility that, you may get a couple of views within one discussion. So that's how difficult or that's how complicated it was. And then getting into there and then doing that, initially was a bit overwhelming for me. And then I, tried to do this. I tried to match up, because typically if you don't match up at that level, it becomes really difficult, because the learning that you intend to get may not happen. So that was the only thing at that time when I was crude and raw. It was the sincerity, determination, and integrity with which I started working. And then that has got me here. So what I can tell you is, guys, this is the stage at which you are in. Now your entire energy or effort should go on, building endurance to all these work. So you should, for this purpose, you should understand and be clear with the basics. So, for example, if you go to, most of you are in the bank and insurance industry. So, especially, I'm sure you'll be having subjects like international finance or, introduction to financial markets. These are the subjects which, when you think that, when you go out, these subjects become all the more relevant everywhere. You go to a bank, it will be very relevant. You go to an insurance sector, it will be, I don't know how much relevance it will, but definitely there will be some relevance to this. The reason being, there are being products that are being sold from an investment perspective everywhere in all the fields. So, strengthening your basics now becomes very important for you. And then for this, you should ask as many questions as possible to your lecturers, to your teachers, whoever teach you all these subjects, so that you get the best out of them and you gain most knowledge out of a conversation that you're having with any of the teachers. And I'm telling you, here you have to trust your teachers' methods and ask them questions. And do not think that it may be a stupid question. How can I ask it? Just speak it out. It is a very initial inhibition everyone has. And I'm not saying that I am immune to it. Even I have asked. I still ask a couple of questions to my partners or directors who not definitely I choose I choose the forum, but yeah, I still ask it. So now for you guys, it is the time to ask as many questions as possible, especially even if you think that the ones you should go and ask. The reason being, this is how you will understand and you will be able to, you will get an answer and then you will learn. Okay, so important is trust your teacher's method, because the more you're thinking that how you will fare, your teachers and the lecturers also think the same way, because they are putting a lot of effort towards you to make you successful or to make you understand or make you learn whatever you are learning today. Okay. And the same happened with me. I was also very raw. I used to ask a lot of questions and then learned a lot of fundamentals. So at the initial level I was in as an analyst or at an entry level, important thing was to understand and focus on execution. That is the term. You get onto the ground, dig in deep, learn a lot, you understand, you know a lot of nuances, and the way you grow up the ladder wherever. These things help a lot because you can think in a manner how you have operated at the ground level. This way you create a lot of connect with your new team members who are working with you, and then you can understand from what perspective they are thinking, so you can get hold of different perspectives from what people think when you come to that, when you start working in a particular sector. And if you have already done that ground level work, you understand that how this person is thinking and how should I be able to help that person. So that's that. So there have been instances where I'll be very honest, there have been instances where things have been it has been a roller coaster ride where you would have thought that I at least thought that boss, this is time now. I cannot take a lot of work. I cannot do a lot of work. At that time, those are the times where you should reach out, talk to people who you think you will be able to help you out. Definitely, some other people are your friends. Some other people are your friends. You go to them, you speak with them. You will understand that what happens. They will give a different perspective, and these perspectives will matter the most, and they will help you a lot in building or structuring your responses as to what I should do going forward, and that is very important. And in my life also, whenever there was a phase where I was thinking that I was having sleepless nights as to what am I doing, and then I have to do something different, or I have to quit or do something. But then I went and spoke to people, and then I realized that no, I am looking at this in a different manner, and then I have to look at it in some other manner, which will help me have a very clearer path as to what I need to do and what I need not to do. So, and that helped me a lot to stick with EY for a long time now. Okay. And then this is, my only suggestion, one of my suggestions would be, if you guys, patience is a virtue which is very, which is very rare. And I think that pays out a lot. I can give you an example. There is a story that was going around on the internet. It's been a while since this story has gone around, and this became popular when Rahul Dravid had recited this story. I had mentioned about this story in one of his motivational speeches. It is about a Chinese bamboo tree, which takes five, which takes some. Once you plant the seed, it takes some 5 years to give a sprout, and then within 6 weeks, it goes as fast as 60 feet tall. So now, factually, there have been so many questions about this motivational speech on the internet, but we should only, I'll focus on the takeaway here is, the more you do the groundwork and more you become, patient in your work, and the more you trust your work, and that's how patient will pay off. Being patient will pay off in that manner. It will not be,
No,
hello, did someone say anything? So it will not be so patient will not be it is not an overnight thing. So the way people say that an overnight story took a lot of years to become an overnight story. So we have to be patient. If someone comes and tells you that you'll be an overnight success, you do this XYZ, do not believe that person. It is not going to happen that way. I'll be very honest, and it is very brutal. Nothing happens that way. So patience is a very rare virtue that one has to inculcate, and it is very difficult to inculcate it. Even I find it difficult at times to inculcate, because it is not easy. It is not easy to be patient. It is not convenient to be patient. But patience is the thing that pays off a lot when you use it rightly. And then there are a couple of things in a conversation that I would like to say. So, for example, if you have a viewpoint, always form a view whenever you go to a conversation. So that's how I learned how to be relevant within the firm when I was learning a lot at my early ages. Because whenever you go to a conversation, if you go blank, or if you go without any know-how of the subject matter that is being discussed, then you're not going to get anything. There will be no takeaways. You have to be, you have to prepare yourself. You have to form a view, and for forming a view, you'll have to prepare yourself for that. Without that, nothing will happen. Because initial days, I can be, I'll tell you an anecdote. Initially, what happened was, initially when I had started as an analyst, there were times where I used to go to a discussion without reading stuff. I just go. I used to go, and then I used to sit, and then they used to ask me for my view, and I never used to have an answer. They said that you have to form a view. Not necessarily the view is the correct one, but it has to have a thought process around it, or it has to have a logic around it as to how have you arrived at the view. That is very important, and this particular quality will help you approach things in a very objective manner, and this will definitely help you, the way it has at least helped me, to form something, to have a perspective, to put it across, and then see what others say. And that's how exchange of ideas will, trigger a lot more bigger ideas. And that's how things happen. If you keep a lot of views to yourself, or keep thinking that, no, I don't think this view is correct, I should not speak it out, it is not the case. I think you should speak it out, and then you should see how it is being received. And definitely, if you form a view, doesn't mean, the view will be received extremely, welcomingly by everyone. There will be reservations, but, you'll have to, learn to unlearn a lot, and learn new things and move on. That's how it has to happen. and then there were times, where then my first feather in the cap, you can say, was, I got promoted to the next level in after 3 years when I joined as an analyst, and they were pretty much happy with the work that I was doing. So that one, boosted some amount of confidence in me to say that I was doing something which on which I have been learning on a daily basis, and it was very good for me. I mean, I felt very good that I have been doing something which is contributing to at least the tax space within India, and it was really, there have been some groundbreaking stuff which you know my firm then was doing, and I had a chance to be a part of that project, and then it was, I felt very good. So the more involved and proactive and sincere at the initial level you be, despite having very limited knowledge, the people who work with you will show confidence in you that this guy can do this, so let's give him an opportunity. That's how you amass opportunities, and that's how you seize on opportunities. And I don't think there is any other way apart from, you have the subject matter, then there is a different question. But still, despite having a subject matter expertise, there could be situations, you may not be proactive and sincere. Then it doesn't make it will not make any sense. So, ultimately, fundamentally, being sincere and resilient at the very beginning becomes very important. And then, and one of the most critical or an important thing in my life was, I got promoted to the manager and started managing a team. This happened 4 years ago. And then at that time, I realized that, how generally, we have been doing a lot of team building and team collaboration work till now. And then I realized that, how a business is done. And then the business field that I saw was something, very new for me. And then I felt that, there is a lot to learn. And even still today, when I have a conversation with someone, at least my business partners and stuff, I realize that, every conversation I get into the room and I come out, I have a take-up to think about a particular subject in a different way or a different perspective. And learnings are so enriching that, I can vouch for that, the people around us matter the most. And then if you are surrounded by people who give you different perspectives, who are knowledgeable, who are resourceful, it is nothing like it. That is one of the best way to learn a lot of things. And that happened to me. And then since then, I've been doing a lot of business with my the partners that I report to, and it's been an enriching experience. Every time I have a conversation with them, I get something new to learn, and then there have been instances where I have been able to put my views across to stand my ground and say this is how we should do it and stuff. So that's how having my own view and my own approach has helped me to put my views across and have a healthy discussion with you can say less difficulties. So and then there have been instances where the way I mentioned that things will go out. I will not say that things will be easier when you do all this. That is not the intent. There will always be things, there will be difficult, but the approach that you make here these days becomes very critical. If you have an approach and an intent to face it with full force, definitely you do something. And that is what I have at least learned. Knowledge will come if you start reading, be relevant. Knowledge will come. But the question is about, whether you want to do it, how sincerely you want to do it. That is very important. And fundamentally, this is very important. The reason I am harping on this again and again is because fundamentally these things are very important. If you get this, if you get this in your system, well, I think it is going to be extremely I cannot say it's going to be extremely easy, but whatever challenge you have, you will have an approach to face it, and that itself is, battle half won. So that's how I think we should be able to, uh, uh, resonate with this. And then, we have our lifestyles have changed. We have a busy life, right? Wherever we go, even you guys, when you study, you have a lot to study these days, and in order to be relevant within your space, within your team, for example, if you're studying and with your peers doing some other courses, for example, in order to be, you would be required to study a lot. The same way that happens at the workplace also, wherein you have to do a lot of work to be relevant, to understand stuff, to have an approach with an objective. So, these things may drain you out. These things may be tiring. So always have a hobby in place. Do whatever that you like. It is, it should be therapeutic for you. So, when you do that, you'll feel good. You should feel satisfied. Chalo. Or you should feel calm after doing that, for example. So I like, these days due to COVID, I'm unable to go. Otherwise, I like to go play football with my office colleagues and stuff. And due to this lockdown, I am not going out these days because the cases are rising. Otherwise, whenever I get time, I take my bicycle for a ride, go to that national park, have a good ride there, and then come back. And there are other things like, I like to cook. I have developed this habit at least in the past 2 years. It has been a very refreshing hobby. So whenever I feel like, I do that. And these are the things that you can, inculcate, and then use these times to, just calm out yourself. At times you can just sit at one place and do nothing. That is also one way of, just calming down. The reason I'm harping on this calming down issue is because there have been instances where, you just get pumped up and you have to do a lot of work, and then it drains you out at the end of the day, and then it may not recharge. The sleep that you get may not recharge you for the next day's work. But, in order to do that, we'll have to spend something like even a half an hour for ourselves. That has become very important. And then that's how we should, having a hobby will help you a lot. Even if you get down, for example, even if you get down for a run, or something else, if you want to paint or you want to listen to music, all these things, you can do that. But importantly, having a hobby would be, very important. Otherwise, half the people, I'm sure, must be, just scrolling on Insta stories and, spending 2 hours. And it is a fact. I will not say that I am not a victim to it, but I have learned to, abstain from it. And secondly, we'll have to understand one thing, that, we cannot achieve all alone. That is for sure. Because at least in my experience, I have told you that when I started looking for a job, my friends were there to help me out. If there is any advice, even now, if I need an advice, I can reach out to my friends. If I have financial advice, I reach out to my wife. She's a financial coach in a way, so she helps me out to, sort my finances. So if there is any other advice from a medical advice, I have friends who are, from medical background, I reach out to them. So, understanding this and, understanding one thing, that you cannot do everything alone, is very important. And then that's why ultimately, wherever you go, you operate as a team. So even in your cases, you must be getting all these projects in your syllabuses where, you have to operate as a team, right? Like even at least we used to do. I'm sure you must be doing that. You have 3-4 team members within which you have to, segregate the topics and then speak up during a presentation and stuff. So ultimately, it is a team game. We have to understand that. If you think that, everything can be done by you, that is not going to happen. So playing or having a team sport or a team activity within your lifestyle will be very important for you guys. Especially if you guys, play a team sport, nothing like it. You should always play a team sport. That's how, you try to complement each other with their shortcomings and their strengths. And that's how that's fundamentally that happens in a team. And then, this will also help you, at this level, the grassroots level, again, it will help you to, focus on your execution at the ground level, learn a lot of stuff. And then, it will help you definitely being a part of the team in any of the organization. This is what it is expected. And then the other one to be, other one is, be very relevant. Being relevant means, for example, if you're doing something about banking and insurance, doesn't mean you can stop. You have to stop here, or you should stop here, or you can stop here. There will be situations where, everything now has become, technology driven. So now in my experience, I have been doing a lot of tax work, but I have been doing a lot of technology related work also, to integrate tax and technology and offer as a solution to our clients and stuff. So there, despite having no IT background, I have to coordinate with these IT people, coordinate or work with them on a regular basis to understand the ask, and then, inculcate that in our tax, in our system, and then sell it to the client. So it is like, and believe me, there is no IT background I have. In fact, I have to done my banking insurance. So definitely there will be no IT background. But one thing is, everything is available for learning. You just have to just go there, understand, learn, because that's how you will be relevant. Because more and more you move ahead, there will not be one specialization wherein, you will say that I specialize in this, but I don't know XYZ. That is not going to happen. Let me be very brutal. It's all about brutal honesty. I'm trying to be here. Because upskilling becomes very important. Upskilling in every sector, which becomes relevant to you, becomes very important. So today, banking and insurance, you are trying to specialize in banking and insurance. When you go out, there could be situations where you are working in an operations team to settle any, forex transactions and all. There you may be required to do something with a particular software model the company uses. At that time, you'll have to familiarize yourself with that particular software to understand and work very efficiently. And that's how, being relevant kicks in, and being knowing some basic stuff about what you're doing, or what you didn't know but you know now. That kind of a thought process kicks in. So being relevant again becomes very important for us. And then when I'm saying about all this, sincerity, integrity, and I work for so many days, so many hours and stuff, I do not intend to promote any hustle culture. That is not the intention. But the intention is, the time that you guys have, that age of whatever, 23, 24, 21, 22, these ages are important to, devote in a manner which will shape up the remaining years. And whatever I discuss now becomes relevant when you are okay to put that effort here, and in a very enjoyable manner, rather than doing it for the sake of it. That becomes very important. And I'm not saying that for now, then you should, take it as a task and do it. But, you can do it lovingly, you can do it. Willingly, you can do it. You can think of a thing. If you are, so you can apply all these in the next whatever projects that you're being given. Work as a team, understand the project. If you have a topic, dig deep down and then see what is the objective, how, when, why, ask all these questions, and then come up with an answer, and then present to the college or present to your to the class. And then that's how you'll realize that, how relevant and how, in-depth detailing you have done, and then you will feel accomplished in some way or the other. So these things are very important fundamentally for you guys to understand that, because the world out there, I'm telling you, if honestly, if you're not relevant enough, people tend to overlook. I'm not saying that happens in every field, but that happens in most of the fields, which involves business. And these days, the it is not that they don't, your clients, for example, or someone do not want you to get the right answer, because right and wrong also gives a perspective and it is interpreted. They want you to think and have an approach ready, so that when you have a discussion with them, it becomes easier to come to a consensus in a very efficient manner. That is what everyone wants. Today, I work in a particular field on tax. If my client asks me some other question, I won't have an answer which is outside of the tax. I don't have an answer readily, but I know that how to find that answer. That is very important for us to understand. That we have to be relevant. We have to be relevant. We have to find out such answers. You have the ability and the approach to find out the answer, then you're sorted. Wherever you go, this is how the approach will be. So these are the things that we should keep in mind whenever we try to work now. I am not saying that we should always be conscious of how are we going to do what approach. Let it go, loosen up, think about it, have a very organized approach. The way I mentioned, deep into details, because now is the time you can get deep into details and understand each and every concepts, aspects, and then learn. Because especially I am sure, because I am talking about, I can tell you an anecdote about one Nandini ma'am's lecture itself. I remember it was introduction to financial markets, or it was the discussion was on futures and for forwards and futures. It was, I think, in the second year of my BBI is what I recall. At that time, ma'am was discussing something, and then as we were sitting in the last bench and we were chilling, we were doing some masti. And then she asked us, "You understand? Did you understand?" And I woke up. I got up because no one else got up. So I had to, I said, "The ma'am is asking, let me get up." I got up. I said, "No, I did not understand." And then she explained it to me again. And I am not trying to make this up, but when I went as a summer intern in one of the conversations that I was having, I went there as a summer intern, and I remember that this conversation I had in my college, and then I just googled it up to freshen up my skills, and then I went into a conversation in my office as a summer intern, and then I spoke about forex and futures and forwards, and then they were saying, "Arey, tujhe aata hai?" And these are some of the moments that make you very relevant, and that make you belonging to that particular space. And this is how by saying that give me work, I know what to do. That's how, if you instill confidence, that's how you'll grow. And it is not a wrong thing to do, honestly. If you know something, to flaunt it to some extent, it is good. People will learn, people will exchange ideas. So now is the time, guys, to learn a lot of things and to think long term, because ultimately everything evens out in the long term. And at times I thank a lot for my own instincts and my friends' suggestions, saying that I did not join the first two jobs because I think I was not made for it, and even still today I think I would not have been suitable for that job. And now I've got something which I like to do, and I learn a lot. Even today, I learn a lot. Whenever I get in a conversation with any of the people in the tax space, be it clients or my teams or anyone, I learn a lot. So these are the things that fundamentally we should keep in mind. When we are at this stage. And today, honestly, I am trying to live my life as if I'm in my 20s. When I'm in my 30s. So I like it. I mean, I missed. So I'm not saying that you'll get everything. I missed all my share of fun when I was when I graduated. I started working, and I used to put a lot of a lot of time, and then I never used to go out on breaks and stuff. I never used to travel. I never used to go out anywhere and do something, because work was very important, and that I had to get that done, because I realized that this is space, this I have to do. Otherwise, it won't help me out on a longer term. now that I have spent some years now, I travel, I bike ride, on solo trips. So all these which I would have done in my whatever late 20s, I am doing it in my 30s. The only thing is the shift of time, but I will do it. So these are the things, that it's like, delay is not denial. So it will be a bit, for some people it may be a bit delay, but it doesn't mean it is in denial. It will happen, but you'll have to be patient, like a Chinese bamboo tree, and then things will fall in place. Guys, that's it from my side. I'll take any questions if you have. Otherwise, I'm good.
Thank you, Ramesh. Ramesh, can you tell them where do you work and what kind of an organization is it? That's what I've written to you.
I work with Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young is a consulting firm. It is a global organization. So it does a lot of consulting on transactions, tax, advisory, audit everywhere. So I work as part of the financial services tax team, which is based out of our Dadar, Bombay office. And we do a lot of international taxation work with respect to these foreign portfolio investors who invest in the Indian market, and then a lot of private equity investors and investors from the International Financial Services Center based out of Gujarat. So we cater to all these. We do a lot of tax compliance work, like annual filing of tax returns, assessments, going to the income tax office, and then helping the investors structure their investments in India, like inbound investments. So whenever an investor wants to invest in India, we tell them, what kind of a structure would be viable and tax efficient from an India tax perspective. So these are broadly the things that we do on a regular basis. So I am part of the team.
Thank you, Ramesh. Yeah. It is a very, very reputed multinational concern, and it is not an easy job to get into that. Ashita, can you also tell them what kind of company you work for? What is your company into?
Yes, so I work in Marsh and McLennan broking company. That's a reinsurance-based broking company, and it's the largest reinsurance broking company of the world. We definitely look after all the broking business between the corporates, and if they want to get or the big insurance company want to get the insurer to write them. So it's all about the underwriting business majorly. We also look after the claims which happen with big corporates and the insurance companies, which they face any surveys which happens in the insurance industry. We also look after a lot of pension administration work which happens across the globe. So basically, it's a reinsurance broking company which helps the customers and big corporate insurance companies to get insurance with other big reinsurance underwriters. So that is what we do.
Thank you, Ashita. Again, see, if you meticulously put in your, do your work and then put in your efforts sincerely with dedication and passion for it, you will definitely get to these heights. That's what I want to say. Thank you very much to both of you for having shared your inputs. And I'm sure students will make the most out of it.
Thank you so much.
Questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Assuming there are no questions. As it is, you both were crystal clear. So they shouldn't be having, but if they have anything more, so please ask.
Guys, you can ask 1 or 2 questions. Not a problem. I'm sure we'll have answers to that, so don't worry about that.
I don't think they have any questions. Thank you very much, Ashita.
Yeah, no problem.
I wish to have for more such sessions. Thank you.
Definitely.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Shita.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Bye, Ramesh.
We'll
Bye.
stay in touch. Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, sir. Bye, ma'am.
Can we wind up, Mala?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will catch up during your lectures. I mean, as per the schedule shared with you. Okay. So we'll wind up for now. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.